Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Painted Arrow podcast. This is an episode that we have everybody present for. This is one of those ones that wasn't anticipated by any means to go out today, so it's going to kind of it's going to be inserted into our normal cadence, and you'll just have to pick up on either the beginning or the end of it for making the entire podcast sequence make sense. So today is 9/11/2025, and I believe it's 24 years ago.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was 2001.
2001.
24 years ago when the Twin Towers were hit, and it just so happens that yesterday we had an American tragedy, and this is a person, Charlie Kirk, who I think for all of us in this room anyway, it kind of, for me, I'm speaking, I guess, more for myself, but he is somebody who is, in a really similar age that we are. Like, I think he was 31.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody probably knows Charlie Kirk. Everybody kind of knows what he did and what he stood for. And I guess when Devin, you're the one who actually reached out to me and sent me the initial communication of like what was going on in the world. And we can dig a little bit more into all this. But like, I just wanted to say before we kind of open up the conversation here to just talk about this, we feel at Painted Arrow that, politics aside, right? We just kind of, politics aside, like this is somebody who was a father, somebody who was an American, somebody, politics, beliefs aside, this is somebody that, was doing what he felt he was called to do, and did it to the fullest of his ability, was very successful. And it's tough to, it's just really tough to see somebody with kids have this happen to their family. And I'm personally a fan of his ability to go into a crowd and talk about his belief with the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's what really I think I admired about him a lot, was just his ability to go and have absolutely no fear about talking about his faith.
I've spent a lot of the day today kind of like wondering why it has maybe affected me the way that it has. Because I guess if somebody previously said, hey, like this is going to happen, I wouldn't have said, oh, that's going to rock me. You know what I mean? But I think what it is the fact that you touched on it, but it's a very similar age to us. We're early 30s. He was early 30s. We have a young family. He had a young family. And realistically speaking, like when you look at political assassinations that have happened in the United States, like when I looked them up, the last like really recent notable one I think was, and I'm talking about like at the scale of this, right? Yeah. Like not like your local politician or anything like that, but was like 1976, and then there was like quite a few that lined up in the 60s that we all talk about. But like in our lifetime, there hasn't been a big political assassination specifically of a gentleman who was exactly our age. And I think that's what maybe has rocked me a little, is like just how, I guess, relatable it is because of our age and where we're at in our lives. To touch on kind of what you were saying a little bit more, like I think today we felt, Nate, and I'll speak for Nate and I on this, like we felt called to do a podcast because it feels like our country is in a really, really, really vulnerable position right now. And I think the key here that we want to get across is like this, and you said it, politics aside, but like this is not a political issue, and it shouldn't be a political issue. This is an issue of humanity. And, his life was taken from him.
I want to go a step farther and say it's a faith issue.
Sure. Yeah, I would agree. But the facts are like this is not Painted Arrow putting out a political statement. or, we stand with whoever. This is us saying that an American man who had a wife and 2 kids and a belief in Jesus Christ was shot and killed because of something that he said. In a country where we say free speech is a right. And it just, like I said, I'm gutted for his young children who aren't going to get to know their father. And I'm gutted for the fact that I guess what it foreshadows, like I think it's just scary that we've found ourselves in a place where we can't
dialogue.
We can't talk about our issues.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that this is, it happened the day before 9/11, because it does present an opportunity. This is kind of what I've been ruminating on for the last 24 hours, is this opportunity that we now have as a nation. And honestly, as more than just a nation, because you're seeing reactions come from even over in England and throughout Europe and South America, and this is something that in a global age of digital communication, this is affecting more than just our nation, probably even more so than it has in the digital age, really, because we haven't, in terms of at least for us, as the United States, we haven't had something that has felt this universal, maybe, in terms of impact. And to me, it's this, we're teetering on the knife edge of what this actually produces in our culture and in our society. Because you look at something like any national tragedy, but specifically since today's 9/11, you think about the Twin Towers. So I think that we all remember where we were when we found out about that. And you remember that that was a terrorist attack meant to strike the heart of America. And it was supposed to dishearten America. It was supposed to basically, as all terrorist attacks are, is supposed to be a thing that, demoralizes and defeats from the heart. And where that was the intention, the actual reality of what happened afterwards was there was some of the most unity between Americans after that, because it was like, no, we're not going to lay down. We're not going to back down. We're not going to divide. We're going to unite, and we're going to, I'm thinking of even that country song. We'll stick a boot in your ass. It's the American way. It's that kind of captured
unity.
The sentiment. Yeah. Like, okay, you wanted to tear us apart. Well, guess what?
Yeah. Not to us.
Yeah. Here we are. We're a team, squad up. And this is the same thing that I see with this, that I'm praying and hoping that this is a catalyst for unity, for rethinking of rhetoric and conversation, like that. This would be, I can't think of anything that would honor the memory of someone like Charlie more than if this was a catalyst for conversation.
Oh yeah.
And for actual good faith debate, as opposed to what we've gotten to now, which really, and that's where I see, that's where my prayers are, is like, both for his family, because there's a fallout there that's irreparable, but also for the country and nation as a whole. This can either drive more division, and it can drive more chaos, or it can drive unity, and it can be the slap that wakes up America to, hey, we've got some serious issues here. Let's not just ignore them.
What's scary is if it's not that slap.
Yeah.
And I think I personally was moved by the statements of the, I think it was the Utah governor.
Yeah.
And he took the stance of like, look, we're getting ready to celebrate 250 years of America.
Yeah.
This experiment that hadn't happened before, declaring our own independence and becoming our own nation. And this is what we have to show for it?
Yeah.
Is this the 250-year-old country we're proud of?
Mm-hmm.
And he looked into the camera and he said, "Look, if you are one of the people that I forget exactly how he said it, but like in the wake of my voice,
in any way.
If you're one of the people who have celebrated this in any way, I would challenge you to look in the mirror."
Yeah.
Because that's disgusting.
It's ugly. Yeah.
Well, celebrating 250 years as a country, like the Constitution, right? The Constitution is like the bread and butter. Like that's something that, again, politics aside, like just like being able to have freedom of speech, and I think something that he really stood for was the ability to have these discussions, whether they're pokey or not, like having those discussions. And often were very uncomfortable.
Yeah, super.
But like, the governor too, he was talking about like, college campuses are typically this safe area where young people go to explore these ideas and really like think about yourself in college. You know nothing. You don't know nothing. You're literally trying to figure out what it is you believe.
Yeah.
And so like, I just really admire, politics aside, right? Like literally take it and throw it out the door. He believed, like his motto was doing what the Constitution allowed us to do at the fullest extent. And you have to admire that at a certain level for him to go and put himself in harm's way to like, make a change, like he's going into war at a place where it's like, and I will say it, like, I think the faith thing, like if you're into the Bible and you understand, like, I can't quote it, and I wish I would have written it down actually, but there was a couple of people that I saw make posts about Ben Rising was one of them. You had sent me another one, but the verse in John, I believe, where he talks about like, if you're of this world, like you're not going to have problems, but if you're like me, you're going to have issues because the world hates me, and you're going to be persecuted like I am, like I was. And like, I respect the crap out of him for like, I just see some of the things that he's made statements on about his personal belief. It happens to be the same belief that I share. And it just really, like you said, Dev, I don't know why this one rocked me, but I cried over it.
Yeah.
Like I'd shed tears over this because it like felt,
I think it's
so
just
close to home. I don't know why that it did, but like, I don't know, man. Like the fact that he has kids and his wife is going to have to tell his kids that, hey, daddy's not coming home. That was when I kind of teared up when I was looking at my family this morning, eating breakfast. And I'm just like, can you imagine? I'm just picturing my wife having to make a conversation with a couple of kids that are never going to have a relationship with their father. And it sucks.
I think, you kind of touched on it, but it seems like in college, like you don't know what you believe. You're there to explore these ideas and sort of build your belief set. In theory, that's what you're supposed to be there to do.
Yeah. And
you got a guy like Charlie Kirk who has a pretty firm belief set on on a lot of different areas, and he enters into the arena with those beliefs. But I feel as though, what a lot of people looked at as like a bravado and ego, like, hey, prove me wrong. He had a willingness to sit down and have someone come change his mind on something. And I think another reason why it hit me so hard is for what this means for our country if we don't change, if it's not the slap in the face, if we're not willing and able to engage in conversation on differing opinions and actually want to have productive conversation.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
Well, and it's you're already seeing it from, and this was encouraging to me, seeing it from the highest levels of government, specifically former presidents reaching out and publicly decrying.
Yeah, condemning it.
And saying, like, this is not how we do things here, from both sides of the aisle. And even down to congressmen and members of the Senate who were like, hey, this needs to be a message to us to, like, our rhetoric actually has real world consequences. the things that we say actually do get to our constituents, and in the wrong hands, what we say and what we push, and the polarization that we are encouraging within our political system has consequences. And sometimes, like, this is the first time that we're really seeing it be fatal consequences. And then even, like, you had before with the assassination attempt with Trump, and it's been trying to get here for a hot second, and this is like the first time that
it got here.
Like, it landed home, and I think that you're seeing, like I said, there's at least some level of response from those in quote unquote charge of saying, like, hey, this needs to be a wake up call for us to change the way that we're doing things. Now, for me, the impetus is on the American people to follow suit and take a look, like you said, in the mirror. Even for us to be able to look in the mirror and realize that, the people that are across our proverbial tables that we sit at in our public square that don't share our beliefs or our insights or our political leanings, even like in more of a micro way, like looking at even the people within our industry of hunting. It's funny. This is not a life or death thing for us, this industry and this hunting. It's not life or death, but the way that the polarization has ran for the entirety of our culture is also present within our industry. And you see people get riled over stuff. I mean, and we see it firsthand, even in our social media.
100%.
You see how people will just say things and they'll ramp it up and they'll take it to the next level. And it's this feeling of like, oh, well, I mean, I'm behind a computer screen. I've got some digital courage. But this stuff all plays out, and it's a heart issue at the end of the day. It's a heart issue.
I think, too, it has to be a wake-up call for both sides of the political landscape, as well as the media.
Yeah,
when you
the media glorifies it.
When you continue to demonize the other side, that's honestly to blame for this.
Yeah,
or a big portion of it. Like
it certainly has pushed it along.
The continuous painting of the narrative that anybody who doesn't agree with you
is subhuman.
Yeah. It fosters an opportunity for something like this to happen. And that's got to change.
That's how every atrocity has happened throughout history, is if you can convince your own heart and mind that someone is subhuman and therefore not worthy of the same level of respect and dignity as you are or your people are. I mean, that's always been, that's the way it happened with slavery. That's the way it happened with the Holocaust. That's the way it happened. That is always the way. And we're seeing it play out in micro steps in our own culture. And if we don't get that under control, and if we don't recognize it, and we don't hold ourselves and others hold themselves, really, because at the end of the day, I can't affect how you guys live your lives. You can't affect how I live mine. It's a decision in our own hearts. And it's living that example, which I think that Charlie, that was what he was trying to do, is, hey, I'm going to be, if I think that people should have honest dialogue, then I'm going to be the one who has honest dialogue. I'll be the change. If there isn't that, and it doesn't catch fire as a new norm of culture, and that's like what we as Americans, or I mean, this is not, we're talking about America right now because this happened here and we are Americans, but like this is not just unique to us. This is something that's worldwide, an issue. Until our culture becomes actually proud of the ability to have dialogue, and like that becomes a celebrated thing, as opposed to something that is fringe or demonized. Until that becomes a thing for all sides, it's not, this kind of thing doesn't fix itself.
I think too, like, I'm a father of young kids. I've got 3 young boys. And that inevitably is part of why it hit me as hard as it did. But, I started the fatherhood journey, almost 4 years ago is when we had my first son. And have spent a lot of that time sort of like deciding what type of father I need to be based on how I've assessed the world, I guess. And you hear a lot of, it's a tough place in the world we live in today. And I guess what I'm saying is I had arrived at this belief set that, like, I've got to raise little warriors to be able to survive this world and to be able to persevere and do what they want in the world, do what's good. But I texted this to Nate, but it's like yesterday I had this realization that's not even enough. That actually doesn't even matter. If you don't raise young boys, young children that believe in and love Jesus Christ, he's the only thing that can protect them. That's where my mind went yesterday. And I think that was a momentary lack of faith that our country could unite and recover. Mm-hmm. But yesterday more than ever was when I had the realization, like, maybe my priorities were misaligned, and we've been raising my children in the church, but nothing can protect them other than Him. And I think the single most important thing is just, this is for me, I'm speaking for myself, but is to raise little boys that know and love Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. 100%.
And again, like yesterday, I'm like, I feel like some of that felt like, like it's hopeless. No, I mean, I have hope for the country. I want to see us unite. I want to see us do better. But I'm confident that nothing can protect them in a situation like this other than their belief in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm confident. I mean, he's the answer in every situation. And like, we can come out and say that, like, I would call us a Christian organization here at Painted Arrow. That is the backbone of how we are even here right this second where we are.
It's the backbone of how we have built our company.
Yes.
Yeah.
And none of that's to say what anybody else should believe, but I'm very comfortable saying what I believe, and that's how we've built this company.
Yeah.
I've talked to Devin, you and I mean, that's why I kind of feel like we all are sitting here right this second talking about this topic, because it's like, like our most powerful asset is our story. Yeah. And telling, like, we always talk about, how can we talk about it's sometimes it's like uncomfortable to talk about your faith. I think everybody, right? It's not everybody wants to talk about it. Not everybody was raised the same way. Not everybody has the same beliefs. That's the easy way to say it.
It's one of the hot button issues that gets
but demonized. it's like your story is your faith. Like that is your walk. That is your story. You know? And so for us to sit here with this platform and to not use it to try and better the world and better, like, we want to see the United States have a revolution, right? Like a positive, wrap its arms around everybody and like kumbaya.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, not civil war.
And I don't have the answer. I'm not a politician. I don't even want to begin to go into that. But like, I do truly believe that God saves, and like having a moral basis for where every day you're walking around, like having something to believe in is like a starting point.
Yeah.
Am I saying this right?
Yeah. I know what you're trying to say.
Like a baseline.
Bedrock.
Like
it's bedrock.
Like you're like, you gotta, like, you gotta have something.
Yeah. And
like that core belief system, like, it has to come from somewhere. And I would just like encourage to look at what it is that you believe and why you believe it.
Yeah. And I think that also it's important for us, as we talk about that, and as we talk about this, to be clear to anyone who's still listening at this point, to be clear, for us, the passing of Charlie is something that hurts because it hits home. It hurts because he's got family at home. We are, I think we can all say that we're men of deep we feel deeply for there's ability for us to have empathy. Like, we are empathetic guys. Like, we feel what other people feel.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, even for each other, we if I'm having a bad day, then it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And same goes for you guys. And we hold each other up because we feel, and we've been in each other's, we can walk in each other's shoes. And I think that's something that
it's an asset.
It's an asset. It's an asset. And I think for years it was, for men especially, it was not encouraged because it was viewed as not manly, but it's an
true.
asset. It's an asset to be able to feel with others and to sit at home and go, I can put myself into that person's shoes and weep over it. Like, that's an asset. That's not a weakness. We feel the pain of this. We feel the turmoil of this. But at the end of the day, something that's important is that we are not without hope. And we know exactly where Charlie is.
It's true.
And while we would never have wished him to enter into eternity this way, we know where he is, and we know that we're going to see him someday. And when you have that as the bedrock, all this other turmoil, in the moment, it's scary, but its eternal implications on you, it loses a lot of its power. That fear doesn't get to live with us for eternity, and that fear doesn't get to drive us to do anything but go to the Lord's feet and say, hey, at the end of the day, the worst thing that they can do to me is send me to be with my Creator. And if that's the worst weapon that they've got, if that's the worst weapon that someone can have to throw at Charlie, man, they just sent him to his Creator.
Yeah.
He's getting to walk with the Lord. And that's like, when you take away that, I've actually got it, funny enough, I've got it tattooed on my arm. Oh, death, where's your sting? When death loses its ability to be something that controls the way that you think and the way that you act and the way that you live life, when death loses that ability, man, you're a dangerous person. And so that's my hope and my prayer is that those who are of the faith, this is not something that will cower us, that this is instead something that we will walk with a power and with a knowledge that, man, at the end of the day, the Lord's going to use us as he will. And we're going to be tools for change, regardless of what the political climate is, regardless of what the cultural climate is, like regardless if people are open to conversation or not. Like, that doesn't get to determine how we walk out our walk.
Mm-hmm. And I think he knew that. I mean, I think he talked about not being scared because he knew
where he's going.
He knew where he was going at the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this clip really quick. Devin sent me this, and last night, man, I had to get off of social media.
I did that, yeah.
Me too.
It was overwhelming for me because
it's just getting started too. I mean,
it was overwhelming, dude. My wife was like, "You need to put that down," and I was almost watery eyes, just looking at the phone, late at night, just in my feels. Babies are down, and I'm just I don't know. But this video you sent me, and this one,
Which one was this?
This is the one that this was an interview he did. I just want to play this and
hold that up close to the mic.
Here we go.
These moments where you're fighting for your country, you're getting these threats, does it alarm and concern you for your children?
Yes and no. We take proper precautions. That's all I'll say. I mean, my wife is the best person ever, and she's a patriot, and she's a believer, and we don't want to have to be accountable to God when this life passes. And he asks, why did you not trust in me and not fight evil? Because we as Christians are called to fight evil. Psalm 97:10, for those of you that love God, you must hate evil. My call is to fight evil and to proclaim truth. That's it. Some people criticize me for that. It's just my role in this diverse body body of Christ. Do I worry for my safety or my family's safety? No. We take proper precautions.
I gotta thank you, man, because I don't think you probably get thanked enough to be in a place where they don't understand how much slack comes with what you're doing. And I know you have that thick skin on. You're like, no, I'm ready for it.
It's not a thick skin. It's the armor of Christ, as it says in Ephesians,
Yep.
right? The breastplate of righteousness, the sword of truth. That is what protects.
So are you in your gospel?
I study the word intimately daily.
But these moments where you're fighting,
Brings tears to my eyes, man. Like he gives the glory to him. It's not. He says it's not me. It's the armor of God.
Mm.
I mean, that's beautiful, man. Like there's no doubt that guy is walking in heaven right now.
Yeah. I am hopeful, like Trav said. I'm certainly not without hope. I'm hopeful for the unity that Charlie would expect.
Mm.
Because I think that's another important thing here. Like you look at his organization, the different things that he was doing, like he wouldn't expect anybody to mourn or lay down for too long. He would expect this to drive meaningful
Change.
Mm-hmm. And he would do his damnedest to be part of that change as he saw fit. So I think, again, all political affiliations aside, this felt like our calling to note what this meant, the way that we saw it, and how much of a vulnerable position the country is in today, and that we're not without hope, but change has to happen.
It has to happen.
It absolutely has to happen. And I'm hopeful.
I agree. Well,
I don't really suppose I know how to wrap a bow around that any better or any differently, but
yeah, maybe let's. You guys okay if we say a prayer?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You think that's a good way in it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it. If you guys want to add on, just add on. Dear Lord, we're just super thankful for this this company and this friendship and this bond and this this group of people that may or may not be listening to this podcast right now. The people that have supported us, like it means the world to us, and to have the opportunity to come on here and just share what we as Christ believers, what we see in the world and the change that we want to see. We're thankful for the opportunity, and we wanted to just be here and try and be that change in the world. We want to see people come together, arms around one another, red, blue, black, green, pink, purple, orange. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is a relationship with you, and what matters is helping your brother, helping your sister, and helping others to get to the same place as your desires. So we love you, Lord. We really thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for the life of Charlie Kirk, who was a patriot and somebody that really, just tried to make a difference, tried to make a change, and he's just an American. He's just a normal guy, and we just appreciate his ability and his wits.
I would say too, please watch over his wife and his children and his family, and please help us as America to walk towards change, and please instill hope in everybody and help us to keep the hope.
Yeah.
In your name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.